You might be a little bit confused by the title of this video, and rightfully so, because when I saw a little TikTok video and TikTok about this topic, I'm like, what do you mean stop thinking about myself? Because I always in my life relied on my ability to think of myself and like to put myself as a priority. I'm like, oh, it's so cool that I do that. It's so cool that I can do that, right? I thought it's like a good thing that I know what I want, I know how to get it, I know how to make a plan or how to observe myself and stuff like that. But then I realized that with time and time, I became more and more unhappy because of how precisely and how much I observe myself. And of course, anything you do in... Suddenly, all the English words are out of my mind. Everything that you do in moderation is great, but everything that you do over moderation, I do not know, I don't remember the word for it, is bad. You can drink way too much water, exercise way too much, and stuff like that. And I feel fancy, and I wrote it down. Look how cute my notebook is. I didn't like the color, so I decided to put little stickers on it. And I'm gonna put it there also because it looks horrendous, honestly. The message of that TikTok video was the easiest way to become happier is to stop thinking about yourself. Which is very contradictory because, surely it does not mean entirely stop thinking about yourself, because then there will be a disaster. Again, everything is in moderation, Don't take the message here too serious because it's just me thinking out loud. The name of this episode. The next one is, the longer you think about your life, the more prone you are to finding what's wrong with your life. The same way, if you would get a white canvas, clear white canvas, there's nothing on it, and you would like stare at it for whatever time is at your life. Like if someone would give me a white canvas, totally clean, everything great, and they would be like, stare at it for 18 years, and I'm like, okay, sure. I would find a lot of flaws. I think I would find all the flaws, and then I would refine flaws, and I would just focus on the flaws that drive me mad the most. And that's what we do with ourselves. We're not supposed to focus on ourselves as much as we do. We're not supposed to be thinking about ourselves so much, because that is also selfishness. Selfishness is not only lacking any consideration for other human being or other people, it's also always thinking about me. Like, what do I want to eat? How do I want to get this? Am I doing it right? Is everyone looking at me? Do I look good? Do I smell good? Are they me? What? I think you get the point. I never really thought of it as selfishness, but it actually is. If you're in surrounding of people and you're like, do I look nice? It's a very perspective thing. Like if you do not think that way, what I'm saying right now is crazy to you. Literally insane. You like, did you take some pills or something? I didn't. In fact, the easiest thing to become more happier is to focus less on yourself and stop thinking about yourself, because it's also overthinking. It's not healthy to think as much about yourself as I do. For example, every interaction I internalize. If someone sends me, I don't know, LOL, or I don't even know what equivalent could it be. Like if someone sends me something and I'm like, they mad at me, or someone doesn't like laugh at my joke, I'm like, they don't like me. Maybe that's low self-esteem. Maybe there's something I should work on. Sure, okay, but that is also shows that I overanalyze and overthink so many things that I'm not supposed to, and that is not good. And I'm not the only one doing that, because I know people, I talk to people, they all doing that. The same way is when we like someone, we overthink every interaction. You're like, oh, he looked at me, he laughed at my joke, he rolled his eyes at me, because for some reason, when other person likes you and they don't want to show you that they like you, they do the psychology thing of when... That sounds insane. I'm sorry. I just um there are some psychology proven things other people do when they don't like you, and I'm like, I do all these things when I like someone around them for them not to know that I like them. It's a very big, it's another topic, another conversation. Well, so overthinking creates problems. The next thing is you're not being watched as much as you think you are. If, for example, you think, oh, I messed up, I did that wrong, my eyeliner is not straight, or it's not proportioned well with the other eyeliner on my left or my right or something, you're not being watched as much as you think you do. You know all these perks and all these things and all these defects about you because you spend your whole life looking at the white canvas and trying to find what is wrong and trying to fix it and color it with colors that are not supposed to be on the white canvas, because that's a terrible thing I just created. Let's forget the white canvas for a moment. Everyone essentially is thinking about themselves, right? When was the last time you obsessed over what that person says when you didn't like them? Like, when was the last time you're like, oh, they said that is very, like, that is very weird. Oh my god, might be so embarrassing for them. Why did they say that? And did you remember that situation for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years? No. Sure, there are situations like that when we're like, oh, this person is crazy, why do they do that? Or like, this person totally likes me, why then they did that? And we think about these moments for so long, we overthink them. But most of the time, we overthink our own situations. Like, was it a hard joke? Wasn't it funny? Was it funny? Why didn't they laugh? Why did he smile? Why they talk like that? Did this group of teenagers like me? Were they laughing at me? We overanalyze everything, which is not good. There's such a thing as communal narcissism, and I'm gonna take my phone for that because I could tell you something that it's not, and I don't want to mislead anyone. Communal narcissism is a form of self-centeredness where individuals seek validation through their perceived contributions to others. This behavior can be deceptive as it appears altruistic, but it is motivated by a desire for praise and recognition. Oh my god. That is the thing that I was learning in my philosophy class, where people do just things because they want to seem just in other people's eyes, and if it wouldn't be that way, people would do unjust things. No one would care about just, or there was a lot of discussion about just and unjust, and I don't want to bore you with that. I mean, philosophy is not boring. For some, it is. When we try to help others, like the only reason we're helping others is to seem as though we're helping, as seem to be helpful, for other people to like us, to get some praise, to get some attention, and so on. This is all self-centered. Like, this is selfishness. Again, selfishness is not only lacking consideration for others and be like, oh, you want me to do that? Screw you. I'm not gonna do that. When I dived into that, I was like, gosh, I'm such a selfish person, and that is not good, because that's selfishness. I mean, everyone is selfish, right? And you could be like, why are you focusing on that so much? This selfishness drives me unhappy, and not only me, because I'm not the only person on this earth. There's also such a thing as the spotlight effect, that we think everyone is watching us. We're in the Times Square, and we think that the only person all the people are noticing is us, and they're looking at us. They're like, oh, their shoes are dirty, or a shirt is inside out, or it's not trendy sunglasses, whatever. We are insecure about ourselves, and we project that insecurity into thinking that other also notice all these insecurities. If you're confident and you're walking down the street and you bought some new shoes, a little dress, or like a fit that you really like, and you're drinking a little coffee, eating an apple, and you feel confident because the day has been great, because the sun is shining, because everything's great, and you're walking down the street and you thinking, God, they must really notice how pretty I am. God, I mean, I hope you had this experience at least once in your life, because It really depends on the mood. If we're sad and we don't like how we look like, and we're like, they totally noticing my bags under my eyes or whatever. But if you're like satisfied with how you look like or how you carry yourself, you're just confident, you don't think that much of what other people think of you. You just either thinking, good, I'm great, I'm feeling great, I don't really care what they think. Or in most selfish way, you think these people are so blessed by my presence here. And that is selfish. But that could also be the case. You know, there could be a person walking around and like, oh, I'm blessing people with my presence. Studies suggest that selflessness is associated with authentic and durable happiness, while self-centeredness correlates with fluctuating happiness. And that sums up, that's like this whole video in a sentence, because I feel so happy and I feel so, I don't know, happier when I help other people. Not when, I don't know, someone's forcing me to do something I do not want, but when, for example, they're like, can you do this? Can you come to the rehearsal with kids? Can you like help me out with this? Can you explain this to me? And I'm like, yeah, sure I can. We try to do so many things on our own and we think, oh, I will do it alone. I did it. I, did all these things, but it's not true. There is no person alive that could say, oh, I learned guitar by my own. No, you didn't. You either read a book, had a person explain it to you, watched some videos, you digged inspiration from somewhere. You didn't just pick up the guitar and you're like, oh, I know all the scales. They're in my head. Because, the only person that could say that is the person who invented scales and like notes and chords and all these things. And we sometimes, usually, underestimate how important people are in our journey, and we're just like, oh, I'm gonna do it all alone. I don't really need anyone, and we focus on ourselves, and then we struggle, and then we have mental breakdowns, and we're like, why? I don't have a relationship. Why no one loves me? Why? Whatever. The next one is presence over perfection. Being present and attentive to others can be more valuable than striving for personal perfection. This shift is focus can enhance relationship and personal well-being. So in other words, you don't have to be perfect in like relationship wise, in friendship and whatever. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be there. A lot of times I myself think when someone pours their heart out to me, I'm like, what do I say? I do not know what to say to you. I literally have no words. And that is also when we overthink so much, because there have been a lot of moments when people told me insane stories, crazy stories, not for me to dig up some Pinterest quotes, but because to share. And in that moment, I wasn't thinking about them and what they told me. I was thinking of like, what can I say to make them feel good, that I would look good? That is not okay. We're not listening to hear the other person think. We're listening to put a word in. We're not listening. We're waiting for the person to stop talking so we could amaze them with how good what we gonna say is. I noticed that a lot, and for a while now, where a person says something to me and I'm like, oh, I need to say something better. I need to say something better. They say a situation and I'm like, I want to support them so much, or like tell a joke so much that they will forget about it. I want them to see how amazing I am, or on a surface trying to help someone. Help. Just like, can you do that? And I do 1% of that, but faster than anyone. And that person's like, oh, she's so good. She does everything like fast. She helps with everything. And I'm like, sure, because my ego lives for this appraisal. But it's not supposed to be like that. We're not supposed to be so focused on ourselves, on how we look, how we do this, that, and that. Because this is so overwhelming if we're not seeing the whole picture of there are literally 8 billion people on Earth. There are literally multiple galaxies. And we're thinking and overthinking about the TikTok that didn't go viral and the TikToks that we have under 300 views. And we overwhelm ourselves, or we think about that one person who doesn't text us back, where there's literally so many other people that would love to be in our company, hang out with us. And this focusing on ourselves so much shimmers down. I don't even know if I used the word. It shrinks our perspective on life. We see things as less. For example, I think about myself, about my life so much that my mind cannot really comprehend that there's other people that could like me. But because if I'm gonna be thinking about myself constantly, right? If I'm gonna be thinking about myself constantly, I'll be like, this person did that because they don't like me. I probably annoyed them really much because they did that. But when you zoom out of your life, you're like, that's just a moment. I had many moments of my life where I felt that way, but we somehow only focus on negative ones. If someone would come up and tell you, 100 people will come up and tell you, oh, this is a beautiful dress, this is a beautiful dress, this is a beautiful dress. Or for example, something that you cannot see, only like here, and it's very subjective, objective, I do not remember the right one. And it's very personal to each person. And for example, if 100 people will come up to you and say, you have such an amazing voice. Like, you have such an angelic voice. I almost cry. You sing so beautifully. You harmonize so beautifully and so on. And one person will come up to you and say, this was horrible. You were off the key. You weren't singing properly. The words were like, And honestly, your song sucks. It's about nothing. And you wouldn't come home thinking about all those interactions with 100 people that said, amazing, good job. You would be like, okay, I was singing off key, right? Okay, why was I singing off key? Because our brain loves to come up with problems. That's why we always have problems in our life, because it creates a sense of purpose for our brain. There's no problems, we won't feel happiness in the way that we used to. We feel happiness when we solve problems. For example, I want to become a dancer. My problem is that I'm not a dancer right now. I want to become a world-known dancer. And my problem right now is that I'm not a worldwide dancer. And I'm setting a goal to become it, the worldwide dancer, and so on, to become it and for people to know me. And that is my problem, that I'm not there yet. And I'm working towards it. And when I achieve it, my brain's like, okay, you've done this problem. But we're never in our lives without problems. The problem that I have for a long time in my life is that I used to watch too much TV and movies and so on, and it would take really big chunk of my day just wasting, because I turn on a TV show and I'm like, oh, what happens next? What happened next? What happened next? I just, when I'm overwhelmed or feel any kind of emotions, I seek entertainment, and TV shows and movies were it for me. But I started a challenge of 30 days with no TV shows and movies, and I came up with a new problem for myself. I started focusing on a person that I don't even know, that I thought I had a crush on, that I see regularly, so that's like a proximity crush kind of thing. And I started focusing on that person so much. I started writing so much about them, and I started obsessing over them. Did they watch my story? Did they do this? And I'm like, why are you so pathetic? I literally created a promo for myself to the extent of where I was so, I do not know. I never really felt that intensely. I don't even know that person, and I know that with my avoidant attachment style, if that person would hit me up and text me, hey, I like you too, let's hang out, I would be like, no, that is too much for me. No, thank God I don't like them anymore, because I can change the way I think, I can change the way what I focus on, I can change the way I do all these things. So I'm not focusing on you. You are wasting my energy, and I don't want that. And it's not that person's fault, it's all in my head, and we can literally control it. Yeah, we can literally control it. When I heard this advice, when I say heard this advice, I mean ChatGPT gave me this advice, I was like, how do I do that? What do you think? What do you mean stop thinking about that person? And I prayed, and it kind of stopped. I mean, not kind of. I don't really find that person. There's nothing. No. And thank God. Honestly, I prayed. He answered. He gave me a person who helped me with that also. Also, ChatGPT, thank you, because told me that me writing poems about him and songs about him always brings me back to that feeling. And I stopped writing poems and songs about him, and life never been better. To be honest, I do not know what I can write songs and poems about if not about love, because I haven't written anything the moment I stopped writing about him. But I could write that's insane. I can show you. They're long. I have 51 poems. I think even more, but I was actually starting to write my wedding vows. And the funny thing is that I'm not married. I don't have a boyfriend. I just saw cute videos about people saying wedding vows, and I'm like, yeah, that's okay. You want to see the one I wrote at 8 in the morning? You want to see that? I'm gonna wait. So, I mean, no wonder that I was feeling so bad. I was literally thinking about myself so much. I mean, in this way, you're like, no, you weren't. You were thinking about him. No, I did focus on myself. I did focus on how I feel, how this situation makes me feel, how him not writing me or doing anything makes me feel. And I felt so pathetic, but also I fed my overthinking by it. But always, I can take control and I can be like, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to participate in it. I'm not going to care, because in a way we also have control of what we care and who we love and what we do. And I have this hot take, you might say, that we could love anyone. Literally, we can love anyone, but we just want to choose a person who's better looking, smarter, richer, I don't know, same faith that we are, all these things. We just want, you know, we're like shopping for bread. It really depends on your dietary restrictions and your preferences. You're like, I don't want a white bread because that's a lot of calories and a lot of, I want a whole wheat bread, something. It really depends. And the same way we just shop for a person, but you literally can't fall in love with anyone if two people want it bad enough. That is my hot take. I actually made a video about love, so I think I explained it there. Maybe not. I don't know, remember. I just think that each person is uniquely their own, and if two people communicate right, they can make it work. But if you have a spark, you have connection, you have fireworks, and you do not communicate, bye. That's not gonna be a long story. Even if you like have the same favorite books, favorite TV shows, you grew up in the same town, you play the same instrument, you have the same faith, and you do not communicate with each other, that says about it. That's honestly, it says all. Where the heck is my phone? I think we're gonna be ending this because I have 10% on my camera and I honestly do not want to change the battery. The last point is that there is never ending, like your fix yourself mindset or like improving yourself never gonna stop. And we somehow, sure, I want to blame social media and internet and all this, but actually we humans are responsible for it. We created this self-improvement thing to such length, to insane length, of where you're like, oh, I slept like 5 hours today. Oh, you slept 5 hours? I slept only 2 hours. Where I do not know how to explain it. We boast by how little sleep we got, or how little, or I don't know. We boast about such weird things. And okay, that's off the topic. That was really off the topic. We always try to self-improve, and I don't like that. Self-improvement is great. I think it's very good. I cannot understand why people do not self-improve, but it's their own way. But sometimes we take it to such extremes of like waking up at 5, doing all this, even when you're overwhelmed, when you need a moment to breathe, you're like, no, I'm gonna keep going. And that is toxic productivity. All these videos you see of a guy narrator screaming at you and being like, you don't feel like it? Run. You don't feel like it? Run. No one really cares if you don't feel like it, dude. I care if I feel like it, because then I have to live with myself. And if I'm gonna hate what I do, and if I'm gonna feel like crap because I didn't listen to my body and my feelings, and then I'm gonna end up in a hospital, I care about it. Yeah, I care about it. So, stop screaming at me. Because all these motivational videos where a guy literally screams at you, I'm like, I don't want that. I like Hopecore. Hopecore is fun. Honestly, Hopecore is the best thing TikTok has, and that's the only thing why I'm not deleting TikTok, because Hopecore is honestly, the most. So I don't think I could coherently put out my thoughts here, but I hope you understand. I am hoping you would understand, and I also want to find out why my voice messaging recording thing is just lives their own life, its own life. So yeah, I really would like that, to know that. This is the end. I do not know where will I see you, because I'm not very consistent at these things, in anything really. So hopefully I'll see you sooner rather than later. And oh god, I changed the direction and the sound is so different. And I love you, and the lighting is honestly horrendous, but I set it up, so I cannot complain. I'll see you, and I'm gonna give you a hug. Bye!